I'm going to show you a really delicious sauce. It's a honey and clove sauce. It's one of my favorite sauces, and it works really well with roast duck, with pork, with chicken, even with beef. Now I'm going to talk you through the ingredients. It's very quick and it keeps really well in the fridge. So we're going to use some of the Simply Better Orange Blossom Honey. So this is comes from Leaving Foods. Some balsamic vinegar. I really like this. This is a 3-year-old balsamic vinegar. Again, the PGI logo. Another Irish company. So this is soya and ginger, great in stir fries, and it's from Full On Foods. So we're going to put that in. So there's going to be a lovely Asian kind of twist to this, and then this beautiful stock. This is a wonderful producer, Carol Stock, and she's based in Derry, and this is her beef stock, and she's working with the Simply Better team. So watch this space. Tomato ketchup, just regular tomato ketchup. I'm going to put that in. Some cloves and brown sugar, and that's really it. So we're going to heat the pot. So I have that on already. We're going to first of all put in our balsamic vinegar. So it's going to be a little bit noisy. So let's put in, hey, watch the fingers. This is what we call deglazing. So I'll put in 4 of these, and it's pretty much foolproof, this, because you can readjust. If you add too much vinegar, you can add more of the honey. So don't be worrying about any of that. Give this a good shake, and we'll put in 2 spoonfuls of the soya sauce in here. 1, 2. Okay, so that's going to give a lovely depth of colour, of richness, flavour. Now cloves. Okay, sprinkling the cloves. What's that, about 8 or 10? I like cloves, and you can make this with fresh ginger too if you want to. Tomato ketchup, 2 spoonfuls of that. It's a great sauce to keep, and it is just, for me, it's one of my favourite sauces, particularly with duck, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. So we're going to put in 1 spoonful of sugar, and we're going to put in 1 spoonful of honey. And you can adjust this, so it's all to your own taste buds. Now I have a sweet tooth, so if it's too sharp, I'll add more of the vinegar. Now I'm just going to whisk this, and I'm just going to show you the consistency. So just to recap, into the empty sauce. Now you can put everything into the pot and then boil it, but I think it works a little bit faster doing it like this. So you have your lovely balsamic vinegar, you have your soy and ginger sauce, you also have your tomato ketchup, and then your balsamic vinegar went in first, brown sugar, honey, and then we're going to put in this. So this is the beef stock I'm using, and just look how lovely and thick and rich this is. It's a great product, very natural, all her stocks. Look at that. That's the goodest stock. Now that's similar to a stock that we would make in the restaurant. I remember we have 12 to 14 chefs in our kitchen. So I'm going to put a little bit more in here. It's going to come to the boil. We're going to put a little bit of salt into it, and like the ingredients are very, very clean. There's no added salt. Beef bones, organic carrots, organic onions, leeks, parsley, little cider vinegar, and tomato paste. Very clean product. It's really great. So we're looking forward to working with Carl with the Simply Better team. This sauce, everyone, as I say, will work really well with pork, with chicken, but for me, the favourite meat that I love with this is some beautiful slow roasted duck. And we've just launched this in Dunn stores, and it's Thornhill duck. It's literally not even 5 minutes from where I live here, and this is the Irish whole duck here. So it's a cross between Aylesbury and Peking. It's such a consistent duck. We use it in Maclean House. We've been using it for over 30 years, and it's just wonderful. So the way my mother used to roast it, she'd into the cavity, she'd get some orange and lemon, a little bit of thyme, and a tiny little bit of water on the duck and some salt, and then just slow roast it really, really slowly in the oven, and for about maybe 3.5-4 hours. The cooking instructions for this is on it. You can just see it's Ken and Sarah come off it, and the instructions how to cook it there per kilo and all that. So it's just so delicious, so tender, so succulent, and we're very, very proud to use and serve that. So I hope that's going to be a fantastic success. Now we're going to let this reduce, everyone. This is just going to come to the boil, and then the most important thing is that you're going to taste it. So say if you added too much vinegar, then you could add more sugar or honey. So don't be afraid of that. If you think it's a little bit too runny, you can thicken it with some corn flour. So it's totally up to you the thickness. But don't have it too gloopy, too thick. That's really, really important. I make this sauce every couple of weeks, and I just think it's gorgeous because we love duck in our house. And it's interesting when you roast the duck, but even like we get the Thornhill duck breasts and the legs, they're all absolutely delicious, and they all kind of taste slightly different, which is interesting. So we're going to let this reduce. I'm going to put a little bit of salt into it in case I forget. So just a good pinch of salt, and then a little bit of black pepper. I love a sauce like this that will keep, and that's the key into making a sauce like this. It has sweet, sour, acidity. If it's too sweet, it's too cloying. You want something to cut through that beautiful, rich duck meat. So I'm going to have a sieve here because we're going to pass it through in a moment. Okay, we can thicken it with some corn flour. So we can, if you think it's a little bit too runny, but we're just going to let that reduce there. Now, so just let that bubble there. We have some corn flour mixed up. Just a small amount. You don't want it too gloopy, so a little bit of corn flour and water, just mix this all together. Claire has this all ready for me. And then you just literally just a small wee touch. Just whisk that in there. I remember the first time I used corn flour, my mother asked me to thicken a stew, and I got the corn flour and I just flung it into the stew. Well, let's just say I never did it since. She wasn't too impressed with me. So you need to mix the corn flour with some cold water. So thank you for that, Claire. Claire had all that ready for me. Now I don't want it too gloopy, and taste it. This is so important. Get a spoon. I think that's big enough for my mouth. So what I want is, I want the flavour of the cloves, but if you serve it with the cloves and you bite into it, it's all you're going to taste. That's so delicious. There's a great balance of sweet, sour. I could drink that by the cupful. We love it. And we make this in the cookery school. And when we serve it with the Thornhill duck, what we do is pan fry the duck breast in the cookery school. Serve it with sweet potato fondant and cream cabbage in this sauce. It's so good. So I'm going to be doing lots of lovely recipes with duck over the next while, but this sauce is definitely worth trying. So I'm just going to literally lift it up. And you don't have to pick a wide saucepan like this, but I thought just for the video you could see it, and pass it through a sieve. And then if you look in the sieve, it catches all those lovely cloves. And honestly, that'll keep for 2 weeks, no problem. I'll just show you the consistency of it. So it's not too runny and it's not too heavy, and you could reduce that a little bit further, but don't have it gloopy. If you tend to add, or by mistake you added a little bit too much corn flour, you can add more beef stock or loosen up with a bit of water. So that's my honey and clove sauce. I would recommend that with this beautiful Thornhill duck, which I say we've just launched in Dunnes stores, selected Dunnes stores, and you can just check online. Great product, absolutely, so consistent, so delicious. But for me, that gorgeous, succulent, soft, meaty duck, which is just so beautifully reared, so natural, and that sauce there with some mashed potatoes or even a bit of rice and some vegetables, it certainly is a favourite in our house. Thanks a million.